Oh, you damn right. Let's get a modcast going for, well, it's kind of vacation time. So you will not see a whole bunch of boxes popping up today. But thank God, Anwar Richardson answered my call when I was asked, wait a minute, who's not taking vacation time today? Anwar Richardson is not.
I'm here.
He's
I'm here.
here.
I'm locked and loaded, man. It's almost football season, man. So it's the modcast ish. So there's no Brady Bunch boxes here.
That's right.
It's just a 2 box for us right now.
We're just going to go hardcore Texas talk, get y'all's thoughts on it. Jason and Alex taking a day today. And as he's been doing since the spring, Ketch is taking a little administrative day to, be the boss and run Orange Bloods and all that.
Do you think he's going to come back when football season starts?
I don't know. That's a great question. I really don't know. I have not asked that question. Generally, when I ask Ketch a question that involves a decision that is 2 weeks into the future or more, I get told I hadn't even thought about it. So that's fair. I think we're probably going
to. There's no debate from me on that one.
Right.
That's totally fair.
You know what I'm talking about there. Money B. In the chat with a we in the building. We appreciate you, Money B. Hang on 1 second. I just saw something too. We get that? Oh, yeah, no, that was good. Okay. I thought I had everything set right.
I want to know if are 2 guys considered a modcast? The answer is yes.
Absolutely. All you got to have is one. You have to have a mod to have a mod cast.
That's it. That's it.
It's a cast and that's a mod. So yeah.
So it's not a lot of people now, Chad. So we to the Chads, right?
That's right.
You go down on the bench depth. Ain't a whole lot of depth here, all right? Right. You get 2 people gone, and you're at the 3rd string quarterback right about now. But we'll be all right. We'll get everyone healthy, ready to go.
Yeah, Big Cheddar, we appreciate you jumping in. We also appreciate the good folks at Daily and Black. They are the sponsor of the modcast each and every week. If you need lawyers that are going to be on your side and do a great job for you, Daily and Black are those lawyers. We also want to give them a shout out because they did start a GoFundMe for those people affected by the floods in the Kerrville and Central Texas area over there. It's up over $58,000 right now. So obviously, awesome. Appreciate every one of you that might have donated to that. And if you want to do that, get on orangebloods.com, go to the forums, and you can just search Daily and Black, DALY and Black, and you can find that. So thank you guys for those that helped out. And we'll continue.
Yeah, I learned, I'll be honest with you, Chad, as relates to that. I didn't know, not being a native, how big those camps were. And when I mean big, I learned that some people get put on waiting lists after, after they're born. You get on a long waiting list just to be on one of these camps. So things I learned afterwards, this is South Enzo's Queen kind of schooled me on some of this. So I didn't realize how big of a deal and how ingrained that really was or is in the Texas community, at least our area. So I know there's a lot of people affected. So props to people at the Daily and Black for, really helping out and pitching in.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Anwar, you mentioned that, you're ready to go because football season's almost here. You and I are talking on a Tuesday, 1 week before practice. Practice starts a week from today. We're talking on the 22nd. The 29th is when it starts. So we've now gone officially under 40 days until kickoff in Columbus. It's 39 days from today when we are speaking. So thank you guys for jumping in. But Anwar, I got to thinking about kind of the structure of the show today. Once I realized it was just going to be you and me, I thought this is perfect. This is perfect
because I get a chance to talk today. It's how it happens.
Because A, I'll get a chance to talk, and B, you're the perfect person to bring this up with because you are a part of the media crew that covers the Texas Longhorns. You have been doing it for many years, and so I started thinking about how will practice be dealt with by Steve Sarkisian. So before we get into what I would do or what you might do, one of the things I love about you and the way you cover things is you do a good job of separating what you might wish to have happen and what is going to happen. So I want you to tell me from what you've already seen this spring, SEC media days, the Destin meetings, and just all the time with Sark, how do you think it's going to be handled once we get to next week, the 29th, What do you think in terms of availabilities? Is he going to let you guys in the media take a peek a little bit at practice, or do you think he's going to be a little more standoffish as we get closer to the game?
You know, it's interesting because I've got to go back in my head. In the spring, I think we had maybe 1 or 2 days of access. It was one, right?
I think it was just one. And that's me going off of Alex Dunlap complaining about it, but I think it was just one.
Yeah. And typically we received more than that. And Sark cut it off at 1 at that point. Training camp, I wouldn't be surprised if it's similar. I wouldn't be surprised if it's similar. Wouldn't be surprised if it's, they kind of give you Sark on a Monday, players on a Wednesday. So it's the first day of report. They report on Monday. Mm-hmm. They hit the field. It's supposed to at least hit the field on Tuesday or do some sort of activities on a Tuesday. And there's a lot of layers to this, right, that I like to peel back. So, but I won't talk for 15 minutes. I promise you, Chad. Even though it would feel like every other day you do the show at noon. So I'll keep it. I'll keep it condensed for you. I'll keep it condensed. There's an argument to be made that access helps. Access is good for for the media that covers the team. It's also good as far as advertising to the fans. But it's interesting because in certain college coaches, they really want to keep things under wraps, which is fascinating to me too, Chad, because often these coaches think that media members don't know what the hell we're talking about. So it's also so sometimes you get challenged on, when you ask a question, they'll retort back, well, do you know what the play call is? Do you know what a da-da-da-da is? And so it's also interesting that these same people you don't think know shit about football are the same people you don't want anywhere near your football team.
That is an interesting irony. I hadn't really thought about that. If you don't think the person knows food, why do you care if they're in the kitchen watching you prepare the stuff?
Yeah, I mean, you would want people who are ill-informed to go to practice because they're going to be talking all kinds of stuff they don't know. Like, oh yeah, on first and goal, they were practicing, I don't know, the 5 wide, right? And no one's, it's interesting, but I'll be honest with you. And this is where I think Alex doesn't understand, but I can think I understand it. At the end of the day, the fans, they don't really give a damn about our struggles. Like they don't. Right. Like it's interesting, but when you start bitching and complaining about what you're not getting from a media access perspective, it's an instant turnoff to the fan base. Like the fans don't want to hear that. Now, we want to be there because we want to be informed and we want to be able to say, okay, this is, what this player looks like, or this player is looking good, or we can kind of see where guys are in a pecking order and all that kind of stuff. But, at the end of the day, I think Sark is operating under I'm just going to give you what you need, but don't expect me just to open up everything to you. Like, I don't, that scenario, if we get 1 or 2 practices within the first 2 weeks, I think that would be good. If we don't get anything in the first 2 weeks, you can cancel Christmas. We ain't going to get anything as he starts getting ready for game prep for Ohio State. Like, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I think you're going to be right on that.
There's something when I know you segue into something. When you segue into whatever ad that you have to read, because you read like 15 or 20 of them, after you come back from that, I'm unfiltered today, by the way. I'm really unfiltered. Like, just so we're clear, I'm in like that kind of I'm a grown ass man kind of mood.
So wait, before now, we've been experiencing filtered.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that crazy? So after you go to whatever you need to read, I want to show you something to show you the difference between NFL and college.
Okay, gotcha. Sandman says, nah, they ain't letting media into practice. Sandman, that has certainly been the case so far. And Anwar knows me too well. I do have some thoughts on things. Anwar is going to get a little pro versus. That's another reason Anwar is great to talk to here, because he's covered things in the NFL and college football. So we'll get a little contrast talk on that coming up. But first, let's thank one of our first big partners around here. Obviously, we thank Daily and Black at the top of the modcast. How about a little AV consultations? We'll hear from them. They can get you all set up for this season and every season after if you don't have the right setup. Check them out.
Hey y'all, I'm Camille McKay.
And I'm Tom McKay, owner of Audiovisual Consultations.
The old man and I are here to give you your summer weather forecast. It's hot.
That's right, kid.
Which means it's time for pool parties, grilling burgers, and taking a beach vacation, right?
Well, I don't know about a vacation, but Audiovisual brings more heat than any tropical destination.
It was worth a shot. I'll settle for some outdoor speakers.
You know, Audiovisual can do a lot more than that. We provide outdoor video screens, audio systems, landscape lighting, even solar shades for your patio to keep the Texas heat at bay.
Well, I'm sold. Let's wrap this up. I'm ready to lounge on a floaty and listen to some smooth jazz.
Well, that sounds wonderful, but some smooth reggae is the way to go this summer.
Good thing we can listen to both with the Sonos sound system. I call dibs on the floaty, though. Peace out.
Kid, wait a second. Give us a call at 512-255-8678 or visit us at avconsultations.com. That's 512-255-8678.
All right. Just like Catch, I do appreciate the fact of the sound effects are great. The acting and the sound effects are fantastic. But the other thing is, I just realized, Anwar, and you muted yourself.
Yeah, I'm muting myself.
Isn't it redundant to say smooth reggae? All reggae is kind of smooth to me. Isn't that a bit of a redundant term?
Not if you go like dance hall reggae, right?
Oh, okay.
So if you go like dance hall, more upbeat, then you can, then it gets a little bit different. So
okay.
Yeah, so that he's talking about like roots reggae, kind of stuff, like the Bob Marley stuff, as opposed to like the old school like dance hall stuff that like Mad Cobra, Patra, all those kind of things.
I got you. Okay. By the way, Hunter, this is not true. This is not true. Anwar did not lie. I will get to talk other than ad reads. I promise.
He has talked more in this last 12 minutes than he has talked in the first 15 minutes of 3 combined shows with Catch. This is how much he's been able to talk. He don't even know what the hell to do with himself. He's like, Anwar, I don't know what to do. Like, shit, like I want to ask you a question, but I'm just not used to having so much time. Like, I don't even know how this works. I've
even got time to see this chat from Sandman. How dare you, Sandman? No, that did not happen. Can't believe you would say that. You know what? Let's get a super
chat.
There you go. $10 super chat from Barb's 10 with a 10. An unfiltered unk is the best unk. Drunk unk in the daytime is what's up. Bring back the late show during the season. Maybe an unfiltered recap with the chat.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've thought so. Here became the challenge, Barb's. Was one we have a night show. Those guys go 3 days a week during the season, and so then the challenge became I was doing a morning show live, and so then the challenge was, am I going to do a night show and then follow it up a few hours later in the morning show, but do a night show where I'm drinking, and then wake up and try to do a morning show. Yeah. So get the kids to school and still do the morning show. So I was like, it's kind of hard to do all that, but I think my morning show is about to make a return. So I haven't talked to Catch about that, but we've talked about it. But
hey, all I know, Anwar, is you just let me know if the drunk unk wants to make any kind of an appearance. If the drunk unk would like to be a guest on the Outsiders, I know I could make that happen. If the drunk unk would like to request that the Outsiders just move aside for
no, never that.
We could do that too. We'll figure it out.
But I could put the hat and the outfit on one night and make an appearance. Now that's a good idea. That's a really good idea. I like that idea. Yeah. Thanks, Barb's 10. All right, so chat, can I show you something?
Yes, please do.
I looked this up and I wanted to show the difference between the NFL and college football. Okay. This is a hit home for you. Okay. This is the Cowboys training camp schedule.
Gotcha.
As you can see, they have open practices out there in Oxnard.
4, 5,
Where
6.
this is the schedule for fans just to come out and watch them all day when they're out there.
That's 11 in a month, Anwar, not counting the scrimmage versus the Rams.
Yes, you can literally come and watch all that. Like literally just sit out there. Oh, it's Oxford Fan Night on the 25th, by the way, Chad. This weekend is Cowboys back together weekend and an opening ceremony. There's a dance clinic on Sunday. Wow.
Right.
You just go through the whole damn thing. And like you said, and you get to watch everything. So the fascinating part to me, Chad, and I just wanted to show that real quick. So back when I covered the Bucks, they sometimes they would have 2 practices a day, and what they do is they set up the stands and some tents, and you as a fan could just show up, just sit there, watch practice the whole damn time. I have first world problems here. Don't laugh, my mosquito guy is out spraying.
Oh, the mosquito guys here. We're spraying for bugs, so we don't have bugs.
I don't like getting bit by mosquitoes, man. It sucks. So I do this now. That might be one of the bougiest things I do, Chad. I'm not gonna lie.
Excuse me. Get that bugs, the small one, yes, right.
Why are these bugs here? They're bothering me. But they're bothering me as I'm trying to sit. I literally have converted my garage into a man cave, and I've got like the screen for the garage so the bugs can't get in. I'm really not a bug person. Is it fit? Do you hear the blower, by the way?
I can hear it. Yeah. They're getting rid of them.
Yeah, he's in he's getting rid of them.
Getting rid of the bugs.
My mosquito guy. Shout out to Barefoot Mosquito who's doing it. So you can go out there and watch NFL practices, even in Detroit too, for hours. You can just set your time. Some people just travel with their families. And so it's interesting that in the NFL, these coaches don't really care. And they just say, yeah, come on out, watch it. Media can be there all day. During the season, there is a window where the media usually gets about a 15-minute window, 10 to 15 minutes or so. Actually, maybe about 15, about where they can watch practice.
You're talking about back in college now.
Now I'm talking about NFL.
You're talking about NFL. Okay.
During the week.
Game week. Okay.
During game week.
Yeah.
I can go out there on Wednesday. You get the open locker room. You interview your guys. And then you go out to the practice field for the first 15 minutes. You get to do that on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays.
Wow. And we're talking, when you say that 15 minutes, is that like the college version where it's just a little stretching and it's not much there? Or is it a good 15 minutes of practice?
It's a good 15 minutes. Some of it's stretching, but you get to see, good 15 minutes. You don't see a lot of, takedowns because they don't do a lot of tackling during the regular season for NFL stuff. But you get to kind of have a gauge. You can get to see who's out there. You get to see who's in a crutch or whatever that thing is, right? And so, and that's every week, Chad. That's every week during the season. So you're talking about training camp being open pretty much the whole time. You're talking about practice access all throughout the week. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, not Mondays, because Mondays is kind of an off day. Mondays is kind of a light practice off day. Tuesday's an off day. Wednesday is the real day. So it's really Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So I found it to be a really unique world when I came to college. And it's like, no, like you can't, we don't want you to see anything. You don't you, it's you know this to be true. You know this to be true. When we go to Sark on Mondays, whether it's Sark or Herman or Strong, you know that it takes place on the 9th floor of the stadium.
Yeah.
And usually there's a practice that's going on in the stadium. But then you're waiting for the practice to get done, and then the coach comes up. You are not allowed to look through that window and see anything. If the staff notices that you're peeking over there, hey, sit your ass down. You can't watch that practice. It's to the point, Chad. When we go to practice, watch, we're never going to go to practice again. I'm totally blowing it up right
This will be
today.
my fault. You're going to blame me for this later.
It's totally mine, right?
Yeah.
When we're waiting to go into the practice field, we're not allowed to stand on the same side of the street as the practice field because you might see something.
Of course.
You got to stand across the street.
Yeah.
Don't you be looking.
Yeah.
Don't you be looking. Don't you be looking.
So, Anwar, here's the part of the show where people are going to wonder why in the world we're doing a show together, because we're going to be on opposite sides of this thing in one key way. For years, I have said, forgetting what I want as a fan, if I was a coach, I'd close everything, because they don't make me open it, right? If you're not going to make me open it, I'll close every damn part of it. But the more I think about this team, this circumstance, this first game, and what Sark didn't show us in the spring. I begged him for a spring event. What did he do? Nothing. Open practice? Nope. Spring game? Nope. So, Anwar, the very first time that Arch Manning walks out onto that field in Columbus with that combination of wide receivers, tight ends, and running backs, no one would have seen it unless you show it to them. No one would. Like, does everybody know what number Mosley's wearing? I had to look it up. Do y'all know that Wingo's going to wear number 1? I had to look that up. Do you know what number Indries is wearing? I do. It's 88. But Ohio State doesn't know that unless they look it up. They don't know what Indries looks like in a uniform. They don't know what Mosley looks like wearing burnt orange. They don't know formations. They have no idea. None. If they go back and look at film of Arch, it's Arch and who? Arch and Bond? Arch and Golden? Arch and Helm? So for me, Anwar, this game, 39 days from when we're talking, I'd look for any advantage I can, and that's how I would go about it. I might even tell y'all, the assembled media, fellas, ladies and gentlemen, when we get past this first game, things are going to change, because then there's film out there. But as long as I can control this monster that is Arch Manning and coach quarterback in my team, I'm going to keep it as tight, as close as I can, as long as I can, and then I'll unleash it on the Buckeyes all at once.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things. I was writing down some of my thoughts. I do get the thought process of the element of surprise. Why would you want to, if you're Sark, give away anything to Ohio State, including a depth chart? If we're just being quite honest with you, why would you want them to know the pecking order? So having a practice where media members can go in, and it may be stuff that you would look at and say, what's innocuous, right? But it could be something as simplistic as, somebody else is getting first team reps at the right tackle position. Well, it gives a team an opportunity to prepare. It also shows me, Chad, that sometimes I think we as media members, we sometimes discount the influence that we may have, because the only reason one would think I need to keep these things under wraps because I don't need these other team reading what the media has is if you've been on a staff where that has occurred. Because you would have never, that's not something that should be just a random thought. You're like, you know what I was thinking? And this has never happened in all the 30 years I've been coaching. But what if someone gets on a website and reads what Anwar writes, for instance, and then that gives them some sort of a competitive advantage. The only way you would know that happens is if you were on a staff where there was someone who just got on websites and read stuff. Now, I do know, not this particular staff, but I do know in previous staffs that there were people who would do that. And sometimes there's this shell game where sometimes they want to put out some information that is or isn't accurate, and they're worried about it. Now, I will just say this, Chad. This is the only thing I would say as a counter to that thought process, right?
Okay.
Which is, let's say, let me get a position battle. So, okay, let's say it's Troy Wisner and CJ Baxter battling in training camp, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's say there's reports that CJ Baxter is getting like first team reps. And so Ohio State is thinking, okay, we're going to see ourselves some CJ Baxter. Now, if Quintravion gets the first snap, it's not like Ohio State's going to say, oh, snap. What the hell are we going to do now?
Right.
Oh, my God. We only prepared for one running back. I was on Orange Bloods. This Anwar guy, he said CJ Baxter was getting first team reps. I mean, your element of surprise lasts, one play at most?
Yeah. No, that's true. You're right. You're absolutely right. Now, here's the other part of my argument. And it's based on the fact of the incredible work you guys do through sourcing.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes reading the scary book is better than seeing the scary movie, because you create the image in your mind of what's going on with Cujo or Christine or whatever. In this case, the reporting is going to be there. You guys are going to do your good work. And Sark knows this, Anwar. He knows there's certain people that may communicate with you. And there's certain people that may communicate with Kirk Bowles in Houston. And there's certain people that may communicate with this person, that person.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But then it's about the nebulous thing of, oh, I'm hearing this. It's a report that's this. But you're keeping them from, and again, it's a very small thing. But I'm just going off of what he's already done here. That's the other. I'm trying to go off of what Sark already shows us, which is very little. He wouldn't even show me Arch throwing a couple passes in the spring.
We didn't have a spring game.
Right.
We didn't have a spring game. And we're never going to have one again, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, that idea just may be dead forever. So I'm just telling you, if I'm the safety or linebacker that's got to deal with Jack injuries, I'm going to do some research and I'm going to find out what's he wearing. Oh, 88. Okay. But there's no film of Jack injuries in a Texas formation doing anything. So just as an extra layer, why wouldn't I just I'm not even going to show him. I won't even show him what he looks like in the jersey. I won't even show him.
But the thing is, Chad, though, I hear everything you're saying.
Yeah.
The thing is, when you look at college football staffs, though, I mean, when you look at the GAs who are on staff, when you look at now these assistant coaches, who are on staff, when you look at all of this, the analysts who are on staff, they have the information on everybody. Like there's really, it's really hard. I'm saying this it's really hard to surprise an opponent when you look at the multitude of staffs that are out there. There's just too many. It really boils down to the execution, the matchups, the in-game adjustments, so all those things. That's what I say. I get what you're saying, but once Jack Andrews goes out and he catches two passes, well, any defensive coordinator worth a damn is going to say, all right, hold on. Let's make sure. All right, we need to have a linebacker over here, or we need to have someone. We need to chip him. We need to do something to kind of work that, at that thing at some point. I think people will make the adjustments. So even with the Arch thing, when you talk about Arch, I mean, there's two starts of Arch,
right?
That's on film, and then there's other games that he played in. So, at the end of the day, okay, I'll give you a good example. There wasn't really a ton of film with Arch when he played against Georgia, right? But at the end of the day, when he did come in against Georgia, when Quinn gets benched, it wasn't like, oh wow, they don't have a lot of film on Arch. Like now all of a sudden this thing is going to take off. Georgia was like, man, we just teeing off today. Like we don't care who the hell's back there. Everybody can get it. Everybody can catch a fade. Anybody want it, you can get it. It don't matter if it was Quinn. It don't matter if it was Arch. It don't matter if it was you or me. It don't matter. Everybody can catch these hands. And so that's what you saw with there. So I don't necessarily know how much. Now, the one thing I will say this though, because I'm acknowledging it is what you're saying is to be correct too. If you are Sark though, here's why I would think your advantage would be for if you're Sark. Sark takes so much pride in the scripted plays to start a game. Really good at his scripted plays to start a game. There is an element of surprise where Sark will throw stuff in his opening script. If it's all about, hey, I don't need anybody to know anything of what's going on with my offense because I've got an opening script for Ohio State that I feel like, man, we're gonna put up 14 right away. Like we are going to get in that ass. Now, if he's going like that, totally understand, and I can see him doing that, Chad, because his opening scripts. And again, someone to have the numbers on how much his opening scripts have how successful they've been. His opening script, I think, is something that's worth protecting because it is really unique, the things that he does to start a game.
Yeah, it's a great point. And if he strikes quick like that, let's just say it's 10. Let's say it's a touchdown and a field goal, and you win a game by 3 or 4 or whatever, then that obviously that first part is critical. We got some good chats here. We'll get your super chat, Football Junkie. I promise. There was a little conversation about will he go vanilla, and I agree with this. There's no way you go vanilla against Ohio State. That's another factor in this game, Anwar. So, you know, really to the point, it's all I would say to Sark is whatever you are, be that. If you want to be secret coach, be secret coach. Because the other side of it to me is flood them with information. Flood them with everything. Tell every source to tell you everything. Every weird little idea. You know, Jack Indries was a quarterback in middle school. What happened? And just strange stuff. And then make them deal. That's why every year, Anwar, I always say when you get to the game right before OU, I can't stand the notion of, you know, we're probably going to hide stuff and not show it for OU. And I always say, no, put it on film. So Venables has to think about that. Put the double reverse on film. And then when you get there, don't run it. And he'll have prepped for it the whole week. Like I'm about one or the other. Don't live in the gray. If you're going to be secret agent man, be secret agent man. But if you're going to be like idea guy, then just flood them with about 30 ideas and only hit them with about 10 of them. And you can be good that way too. So I want to see what Sark will do, but I feel like we're going secret agent Sark. If we're going one way or the other, I think secret agent Sark is about to happen for Ohio State.
So I know I said I was going to be unfiltered, so I'm just going to stay with the theme. I'm not going to get into specifics though.
Okay.
I reported something last year from an injury perspective.
Okay.
And I received a call, and it was kind of like, hey, and the injury made it seem like it might be kind of a bad thing. And I received a call that was like, hey, man, we really wish you could have held off on that one. I was like, okay, man, you know, that's my bad. And it's like, okay. And then like a day or two later, they said, hey, actually ended up doing us a favor. Because actually, we think this guy's going to be okay. But we're actually glad that it's out there that he's not going to be okay. So we appreciate it. Like, thank you. Hey, do us a favor. Don't clarify it though.
Don't say anything now.
Don't say anything. Just let this thing ride. Just let it ride. You clarify it like before the game. You can say like he's warming up and stuff. I'm like, all right. I can't look stupid now. You gotta give me a little something because I can't go like totally this thing's gonna happen. But there is some cat and mouse things that do happen behind the scenes. I can say that. I know super chats are piling up, but I can say that.
That is funny. All right, let's get this first super chat in because Football Junkie wants some inside info. For $4.99, Anwar, who are you hearing about behind the scenes on this Texas defense? We know Arch is going to be good, but I think this defense could be great. Any names you're already hearing about?
There's the typical list. I'm trying to think of who outside of the obvious that I've heard of recently. I've heard of Trey Moore recently, just having a really good adjustment to the linebacker room, being a guy that was able to play down and now it's being able to be a little bit more free. I've heard really good things about him. Of course, Gilbo. I'm trying to think of who else that I have heard of on the defense. I'm trying to think of oh man, there's shoot, where was it? Hold on. There's a freshman that I heard his name as well. Just give me a second on that one. Chad, go to the next one. I'm gonna look this up real quick.
Okay.
Because I think I may even have reported that in a war room recently as well. But go ahead and go to the next one there, Chad.
All right, we'll come back to you, Football Junkie. I will keep it there.
Football Junkie. There's one more name. I just want to make sure I get it for you. Okay.
$4.99 from ATX Bates. To build on the opening script point, in my opinion, how Sark uses Arch's skillet or skills will be radically different than how he used Quinn. Thoughts? I don't know about radically, but I mean, Bates, my reaction to that would be I think Sark will be more comfortable with some of those deep attack routes with Arch throwing the ball. I mean, he's just better throwing the deep ball. More comfortable. It snaps out of his hand a little better. And to me, Anwar, it just feels like a bigger knife. Let me put it that way. When Quinn threw it, it could be a knife, but it just feels like a bigger knife when 16 throws the ball.
Yeah, I would say I think that's fair. It's interesting because there was always a conversation about Quinn and the arm and all those kind of things, but Arch has definitely got a good arm. I think Quinn was good at maybe trying to hit spots, right? But as far as like the accuracy on the deep ball, not always, and then just firing something in, not so much. I think Arch from a skill set standpoint, I wouldn't say radically different would be kind of disrespectful to Quinn, but
it won't be that. I don't think radically is the wrong word. I just can't imagine.
I would say that's radically is disrespectful, and I'm not saying ATA especially you're trying to be disrespectful. I just say I don't want to say that. But I think it'll be different for sure. I think the biggest thing, more so than the arm stuff, and look, you want accuracy. You want a little bit more accuracy, especially on the deep ball. If you can get that, you're cooking with grease. But I do think Arch with his legs will make a difference. Not that oh my God, this guy's going to be a dual threat quarterback and he's Lamar Jackson. Like that's not what's going to happen. But Quinn wasn't necessarily a mobile guy. He could run every once in a while, but that wasn't his thing. I just think that when the pocket starts to collapse, if that second or third read isn't there for Arch, if he decides to take off, all of a sudden, now you're talking about 15 yards, 20 yards. Like you're as a defense might even need somebody to spy him, just to be safe, which, now could open up some more things in the field. So I think that's what makes the huge difference as well. And there's another guy I'm still thinking I kept going through it, and it's not Jonah Williams. I've heard good things about Jonah Williams, by the way.
Anwar, I feel like I saw, pardon me if this is incorrect, I feel like I saw a note about Terry recently, about Justice Terry recently. Is that
Justice Terry? Yeah, but I talked to someone. So these are the names. There's going to be one more. No, I don't think it was Cade Phillips, but I've got you. I will spend the rest of the show finding this thing out. I promise you, because there's one more name that I heard. And I was like, what? damn it, man. Like, what am I? And I will get that for you. There's one
Okay.
more name that I heard.
Junkie, we will get it to you. Thank you for the $4.99. Also, Michael, thank you for letting everybody know that you are headed to the swamp. Whew, $5.33 a pop is serious. But so is that atmosphere. I've never been there. I am jealous of you.
It's fun.
That's got to be awesome. October 4th. That is Arch at Lagway. And if Texas beats Ohio State, what could be at stake in Gainesville just could be out of this world. 8th row behind the bench. Michael, have a great time.
So I don't know where Michael, I don't know where you're flying into, because you got a few options, right? You can fly into Tampa, Orlando, or Jacksonville. So you have 3 options to really. The hard part is, though, if you fly into Jacksonville, you have to stay in Jacksonville. So that's the tough part. You know, it's like, oh, this is a cheaper flight. And it's like, oh, I'm in Jacksonville, right? It's like one time I covered a fight, and when I covered boxing, and I covered a fight in Manchester, England. It was Jeff Lacey versus Joe Calzaghe, right? And so the fight was in Manchester, and I just equated it like going to the U.S. for the first time and going to Pittsburgh, right? I was just like, could have gone to New York. Like, this thing could have been in London, but it's in Manchester. And I was like, it's like a nice industrial work town, but not sexy. That's what Jacksonville is to me. Just a nice industrial town, but you might want to go to like Orlando, Tampa, and just drive 2 hours.
Yeah. Hey, that's a trip that ain't about the sexy. That's about the swamp. You're going to Gainesville. You're going to go for big time football games. So, that's.
By the way, someone said earlier, by the way, that I was soft about getting my mosquito guy. I don't like the bugs, but I'll be honest with you, it's more so for my kids because they play outside and they play soccer all the time, and so they just were getting devoured. And it's more. I don't like it, but I got my man cave. It's more so for the kids, so they can go outside and play. If you got kids who don't want to be in front of their electronics and actually want to go outside, I'm all for endorsing that.
And the bugs hit people differently, Anwar. It's crazy. Like, the bugs get after my daughter in a way that they don't get after me, like mosquitoes. As long as I cover my ankles, I'm good. Literally, the only part of me that a mosquito cares about is my ankles. That's it. As long as I got a
bite on your forehead, though.
What's that?
You ever get a mosquito bite on your forehead?
It's rare, but yes, but they don't. And you think, look at all this target area. Look at all of this, Anwar. You'd think they would love it. They don't. They don't care. Just ankle.
No, they go after my kids. I was putting some stuff on them this morning. So we're cooking with grease. We had some more super chats, though, didn't we, Chad?
I think we're done with super chats. Hang on, let me double check. We got that one about Sark and usage of Quinn. And we got the defensive one. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure we didn't miss one.
Yeah, we are clean on super chats. If y'all want to throw one in, please do. Up over 600 of you in that Specs chat. We'll give Specs their love in just a second after I tell you about sinus and snoring specialists. I do love me some sinus and snoring. They are the place that can help you sleep better, feel better, just rest better. I went in there in 2017. And got things taken care of. If you know you need to get it taken care of, then do it. I'm 50 now, 50 damn years old. When you get up into that area, and if you know you're snoring and you got sleep apnea, don't let it get worse. Don't do that. My wife, for a while, was just letting it was getting worse. She was severe obstructed sleep apnea. It was scary to listen to her sleep. And now she's got the CPAP and she loves it. She wouldn't sleep without it. She sleeps like a baby. She's got to get up early for her job. If you're like that too, get it taken care of. This is the place. Sinus and Snoring Specialist, 601-0303, or go to sinussnoringent.com. Feel clear, rested, and healthy with Sinus and Snoring Specialist. Big shout out to them. And again, shout out to you guys for jumping in today on the modcast. And again, a couple of the other mods taking some time off today. Shout out to Jason, taking a little vacation time with the kids. Alex is doing a little vacation time as well. But we are 1 week away from practice starting for Texas. So we're talking today about how will things be dealt with in terms of the media, the presentation of this thing. Sark just took Arch to SEC Media Days because he knew kind of had to. Like, you can't say no to that.
Yeah.
But now, and Anwar also, in terms of Arch himself, he did a great job at SEC Media Days, but he said over and over, by 5 times, I heard him say, yeah, I'm not really that into the media thing. I just want to play ball and I want to go. And I just keep thinking about Sark, because now Anwar, he doesn't have to worry about the whole Quinn Arch mess. He doesn't have to play a game anymore. He doesn't have to dance anymore with that thing. This is full blast Arch Manning. So does he sit and think about, how do I want to present this to Arch? Do I want to keep Arch from the media a little bit? Do I want to do a special media thing for Arch every week? Because I know they want to talk to him. So I'm going to be interested to get your perspective on it once it gets going, on how could it be different? Because this is a truly unique situation. You're covering a guy that I've only heard compared to Tebow or Manziel, where it actually makes sense to me.
Yeah. Okay.
And I don't think either one of those is fair. I think it's a very unique situation that we're about to go into.
15-second detour real quick. I'm going to get back to it. I'm going to answer it. The other guy I couldn't think of was Grayson Littleton. I reported that back in April. It took me a while to find it, Football Junkie. That was a name I was told to keep an eye on. I knew it was something a little bit more obscure. So Grayson Littleton was a guy I did not just keeping an eye on. So that was another name that I heard back late in the spring. As it relates to the Arch thing, I mean, you can't hide it. I think you have to embrace it. You have to know that that's just what comes with the territory. You've had, several years to prepare yourself for what that's going to look like. I don't necessarily think you have to do anything different, let's say on Mondays, right? Because you usually make the quarterback available on Mondays. You make the quarterback available after the game. So I think those things kind of remained the same, Chad. I think the biggest challenge is during the week, making sure that he's not stretched too thin with the requests that are going to come in, whether it's the ESPNs or the Fox of the world, the Sirius XM radio kind of stuff. Like there has to be certain things where you say to yourself, look, if you want him, he's going to be here on Monday and you can speak to him on Monday. Outside of that, and when it's, Thursday, we can't have him doing certain things. He has to be locked in. He has to be ready to go. But I will say this, the media days, the SEC media days was the biggest media event that Arch has ever attended, right? It's not to say he hasn't been popular, doesn't have the name, but he's never had a major event with hundreds of media members surrounding him. And I know he spoke at bowl games before, but it's kind of informal kind of thing. This is getting dressed up, getting on a plane, and then even in the bowl game, that was for a short segment. We're talking about getting there at 12 something and from start for 3 hours straight. You're just talking 4 hours. You're going to this radio place or this television place. I thought he handled it amazingly well. I thought he looked extremely comfortable. And, I know it's not always fun to do comparisons, but the most recent comparison, Quinn was not ever really comfortable with the spotlight, right? It wasn't really his thing. If you ever heard him talk, he just kind of answered the question, but he never really had fun with it. I thought Arch had fun with it. I thought he joked with people. He joked with Kurt Bowles about the attire that he's wearing, whatever the clothes were, because it was old man conservative stuff. So he joked with him about that. He laughed, and so I think I think overall he's a guy that's mentally equipped to handle it. I don't think he's a guy that you have to hide and say, okay, well, we're worried about you. I think I think it's almost kind of, Chad, you don't punish him, for who he is. It's like sometimes you just got to let the kid be the kid. And you just say to yourself, all right, like, this is what comes along with being a quarterback at the University of Texas. You want to be just one of the guys? Well, here you are. You're just one of the guys. You talk on Mondays. You talk after the games. You talk just like everyone else, but we're not going to kid glove you and treat you differently.
Yeah, hide is definitely the wrong word. And if I said that, I shouldn't have used that
I don't
word.
think you said hide. I said that.
But I do.
Those are my words.
But to your point, there's a certain level of, I think, protection that they do need to think of because he's unique. And let's face it, the Tim Tebow's, Joel Klatt's, Chris Sims of the world are going to want to talk to him, and they're going to try to get a one-on-one. How many one-on-ones? Kirk Herbstreit. How many one-on-ones are you going to, hey, we want to have Pat McAfee come into town and hang with Arch and go have a burger? Is that cool? I mean, there's just going to be so much of that going on. How much do you allow and how much don't you allow to just make sure he's prepped for games? You know what the games are. You know. Leading into Columbus, leading into the Swamp, and leading into Athens, you're going to have a flood of that kind of stuff. How do you balance it all out to make sure he can be your quarterback? He's rested, he's ready to go, and he's not feeling like, oh my God, really another interview? I gotta sit and talk.
That's where I think you tone it down versus San Jose State and UTEP and Sam Houston, right?
Yeah.
And, I think that's when you just say, all right, nah, you chill out. And they're not going to necessarily want him for those things, right? But I think there has to be a balance of, okay, you're going to have a lot of people who want to speak to you, and you're the quarterback at the University of Texas. But that being said, you can't be everything to everyone, and at some point there has to be a no, right? And so you may get one this week, or we may get you in 2 weeks or something like that, whatever day they designate to say, okay, Arch, you can do certain things, they got to get it done. If it's, let's say it's like Tuesday or something, like it's got to get done on that Tuesday, and you got to let the guy get locked in. Because what you don't need is, man, coach, I was trying to be prepared for Oklahoma, man, but I had to do all these interviews. Like, John Bianco's going to be out of a job. Like, John's going to be like, oh, hell no. I like my paychecks. Like, hell to the no. That's not going to happen. John Bianco shut that down.
Yeah, and John Bianco's dealt with a lot of stuff, but nobody's ever dealt with this particular thing. He'll do a great job with it, but it's going to be interesting to see how they juggle all that. All right, we see those super chats
in this era of social media like this. He may have dealt with Vince, but that was pre-social media. This is a totally different era.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, crawling up towards 700 of you in the Specs chat. We appreciate all of you. We'll get to those super chats, and we have certainly appreciate Specs. Here's Lisa.
Texans know for selection and lower prices, it all starts at Specs.
Shop Specs!
With all your favorites on tap, you'll bring home the win. Boots on, drinks up. The fun starts here.
Shop Specs!
All right, we'll go big money first with Tracy. $10 super chat. Thoughts on the NCAA rule changes such as injury timeout charged, simulating the snap. And after the 2-minute timeout, defense commits a foul with 12 players on the field. Interesting. Mentioning multiple changes there.
I think Tracy's a referee, if I'm correct. No. Seriously, I think Tracy does refereeing on the sides. So if I'm correct, so I think he'd be more qualified on that. I did see something about the injury timeout being charged. Some of the stuff came up in SEC media days. The tough one was when they showed the one that it got a lot of traction on my Twitter feed, which was if the defender moves their arm and it causes the offensive lineman to jump, that's a penalty on the defense.
Right.
So, which was weird. So you can shift on the line, so you can shift to the different gaps. But if I just move like this and you jump off sides, that's a penalty on me.
Right.
I thought that was pretty dumb.
And Anwar, that's the question Kirby Smart got asked right away at media days about the Texas game, and abrupt movement, I believe, was the word that was used. And he's like, well, you got to tell me what abrupt is and how do you define it? We'll need to watch that, but we've seen it. I mean, we watched that in the NFL too. The big jerky motions on defense that make an offensive lineman flinch. They are now starting to put that on the defensive player. And they're going to do more and more of that in college football because, Anwar, you know how this sport works. They're going to lean towards the offense any chance they get. And this is another version of it.
Yeah, I mean, hold on. Let me see. I'm going to show it to you. Did you see it, by the way, Chad? Did you see what I had tweeted out? If not,
I don't think I saw what you're referencing, no.
All right, cool. Check this out. Let me see if I can make this bigger. Let me see what it looks like over here. Can you see it? Is that okay, Chad? Or you try to make it full screen?
Probably full screen. As big as you can make that would be. There we go. Yeah, that's better.
Check this out, Chad.
Okay.
Action on the defensive side of the ball.
Go back here.
Additional action on the defensive side of the ball prior to the ball being snapped. And there's a lot of what I'll call abrupt.
Look at the
movement.
The right guard,
and
Chad.
what we've seen is over the last 4 or 5 years, the number of false starts.
Oh my God! Just that little arm shrug.
That's a penalty on defense now.
And it's just not what I see in the Southeastern Conference. It's what my peers and I have all been seeing across the nation. This year, a change in the football rules is we're adding a standard to the defensive side of the ball that the offenses has had for a century or more.
The right guard's going to tell me that is what made him move, right?
Action that
he's going to say, "Oh man, that's
standard action that simulates the snap is now put on the defense as well, and the officials are being asked to judge defensive movement in that light." We're going to watch this defensive tackle that's lined up between the right tackle and the right guard. And you can see he has two down teammates to our left of him.
So the shift is okay, Chad.
Football coaches do called stemming.
But it's almost like the arm is
by the two that are stemming
part of
our
the
left,
shift.
Legal.
Yes.
But you can see in concert with that, we have a tackle between the right guard and right tackle who's flinching. He's simulating action.
Okay, so you got the gist of it, right?
Yeah, I got it. If we're trying to explain a penalty with the phrase "in concert," we might have a problem in college football.
Here's the thing with this one, right? Chad, the offensive line knows what the snap count is. Mm-hmm. So if I know in my head and I get in my stance and I know, okay, it's on 3, it doesn't really matter what that guy across from me is doing because I know it's on 3. So he should be able to do whatever. I've got to be, as an offensive lineman, disciplined enough to say, okay, I know it's the snap count is on 3. Let me stay in my stance. Let me wait for it. It doesn't matter what they're doing. I'm gonna destroy this person as soon as that ball is snapped. I'm gonna destroy them for what the hell they just did. And by the way, Tracy is a referee, so I was correct.
Yeah, there you go.
I know my people. I know my people, Chad. Know my people. And so that's the dumb part of the rule is if you as an offensive lineman already know what the snap count is, then you just got to be disciplined within it, and penalizing the defense because you moved. It's kind of weak sauce.
That one's going to be weird. Tracy, we'll keep a lookout for those, and I got a feeling like I'm not going to like that. I don't like any penalty that feels like we're making it more unfair to the defensive players, demonizing the defensive players. I don't like that stuff, so I'm probably not going to enjoy when they do that. Now, before we leave rules on Anwar, the one thing that popped in my head, correct me if I'm wrong here. So last season, I believe is when they went to the 2-minute warning, 2-minute timeout, whatever you want to call. But isn't it true that this is our first college football season where the clock will stop on first downs in the 2-minute area?
I believe you are correct on that, Chad. I got to look that up, but I believe that sounds correct.
So I think that part of the NFL, if you will, has now found its way to college football. Not only are we going to have 2-minute warnings, but in the 2-minute warning, second and fourth quarter, I think they're going to stop, and it may be the whole game, but I think it's in the 2-minute area. They're going to stop the clock on first downs, which is such an NFL feel, and it's never been a part of college football in my life, but I think that comes in this year.
Yeah,
I'm right on that.
Yeah. I mean,
at least I know they had talked about. I'm pretty sure that one went through.
Yeah, I wish I would say I have a working knowledge of that one, Chad, but
That's one I got to look up before the season. So we got time.
Let's look that up and make sure we know.
We got 39 days to check that one out.
AR, I know my rules. Yeah.
AR put in a $5 super chat. Do you think Texas and Georgia will be another legit SEC rivalry down the line? Loved how Sark pulled 3 recruits under Kirby's nose. Yeah, it was a good week, AR, for Sark.
Good initials, by the way. Great initials by you, AR. Yeah, you know what? So Ketch and I are different on this one. Because Ketch thinks the world of Kalen DeBoer. And I kind of shoulder shrug it a little bit. Not to say that he's not a good coach, but I don't know what to think of a guy post Michael Penix, who was an amazing, football player when he played at Washington. And I don't know what to think of a person who inherits a program, Chad, who inherits Nick Saban's program. Nick Saban's program. I'm not talking about some just random dude. I'm talking about the GOAT. Inherits the GOAT's program that had like 15 straight double-digit win seasons and finishes with 9 wins in year 1 and loses to Oklahoma and Vanderbilt. I don't know. You can't sell me on what he did back in the day, because what I'm looking at now, I'm kind of like, really? Yeah. Vanderbilt and Oklahoma in the same season? I don't look at them as one of the top, as the team to beat in the SEC. I look at Texas as one of the teams to beat in the SEC. Look at Georgia as one of the teams to beat in the SEC. I feel like that's tier 1A. Then there's probably a tier maybe 1B where you can put your Ole Miss, where you can put maybe Alabama, where you could put, I don't even know if I put South Carolina up there yet, but maybe South Carolina's in that mix. Maybe, right? But good teams that are in that 9-ish to maybe 10-ish win range. So who else would that? I don't even know if I put South Carolina in that, but somewhere in there would be Alabama. I feel like for years to come, it's going to go. It's Texas and Georgia as the teams to beat.
Yeah, and to this question, AR, I don't know how it looked. I mean, is it a legit rivalry down the line? We'll need to see how the schedule plays out too. This home and home, what happens in 26? 8 games or 9 games is going to be a huge moment, because if it goes to 9 games, the chances of Texas and Georgia playing more often go up. If it stays at 8 games, the SEC can be the SEC, and you might see this home and home followed by 6 or 7 years of Texas doesn't play Georgia. They've done it before. They have done it.
The question is, if they go to 9, do they just throw in Arkansas? Is it Arkansas, A&M, Oklahoma as your 3 permanents?
Right. And then if you're going to play the 3-6 game, Anwar, you're going to play 3-6 1 year and then flip that 6 over, or are you just going to play home and home with those 6? Because if you do that, you can stretch it further.
Yeah.
And you can protect some of your teams. That's what the SEC's been doing.
And that's why I think, and we'll see what happens this year. I've always been suspect on the whole 9-game conference schedule thing. I've always kind of like, are they really going to do that? Because I don't know if they're getting rewarded, and the SEC feels like they kind of got robbed last year of teams that they feel like should have been in, like South Carolina would be one of the teams that they felt like they got robbed and should have been in there. They're looking at Indiana's of the world, and Indiana becomes kind of like the poster child of they don't play anybody, but yet they get in. So I think the SEC is looking at it and saying, is there really an incentive for us to add in a potential loss in when this other teams aren't playing anybody, the Boise States of the world and your Indianas of the world, and you're giving these teams are getting in, and why should we even add in another potential loss? That's why I think the 9-game conversation sounds interesting, but unless the SEC can figure out how to get more teams in, I just don't see them taking the risk.
Yeah, I'm with you. I've said that for a long time. I'm not going to believe it's 9 until I see that on paper.
By the way, this is not nice by S. Roan. Don't let this distract you from the fact that Indiana, SMU, Arizona State made a CFP before Aggie. Chad.
Hey, they did do that. They did do S. Roan. You know, you can't be afraid of facts. You are absolutely right. Indiana, SMU, and Arizona State did make the CFP before A&M did. Obviously, we could talk about what conference those three teams are in versus the conference the Aggies are in. Yes, of course. Like
Chad came with a steal and a layup right there, baby. Chad came with a steal and a layup.
But S. Roan, before you even type the response, the Aggies asked for that. They asked for it out loud on purpose. In 2012, they asked for a tougher path. So did Texas. Texas just asked for a tougher path into a playoff and to say, I don't know, a top 4. And guess what? They still got there. So that's all part of it. So you're absolutely right.
It's be careful what you ask for. Well, that applies to A&M. It just didn't apply to Texas because Texas got everything they wanted.
By the way, Anwar, I saw a sneaky little schedule thing that no one will pay attention to, maybe but me. But I noticed that I believe this is right, if Baylor can get by Auburn in the first game, their second game is at SMU. So all of a sudden, Baylor and SMU would get really interesting early in the year if the Bears protect home. People are picking them to win the Big 12. If they beat Auburn and then they go to Dallas to play a playoff team from last year, that's a Baylor SMU game I may actually have to pay attention to.
Is the game at SMU?
At SMU, yeah.
That campus is jump. What? By the way, sidebar. What a beautiful campus SMU has. Have you ever been on their campus?
Yes, it's gorgeous. It's incredible.
So I took my son there. I know we're wrapping up, but I took my son there for a soccer camp. It was a residential camp like 2 years ago, and but I rented a hotel close to the place because I'm like I don't know these people. Like I'm gonna be within like an hour. I mean, a mile or two of my kid, right? So, and I'm walking through this campus every day, Chad. And I'm like, man, this campus is amazing. Like this is a beautiful place, and there's not a lot of men's soccer programs in the state of Texas, right? Especially like a D1, like 1A. SMU is the only one. So I was like, man. I wonder how much it would cost for me to send my kid here. And I was on my phone. I nearly threw that thing against the damn wall, Chad. Crap is like almost $100,000 a year. A year. Yeah. What kind of algebra are they teaching there? It's not the same as ACC. They got a different algebra that they teaching.
That's some special algebra. You need daddy's money to get to that algebra.
You're going a whole lot of money. I was like, oh, snap. This is different. This is a different vibe here. These people go to school rich.
Hey, we got a couple other chats I wanted to hit here real quick. Also, a couple other great folks to thank here. If you want a good casual steakhouse, look for this building when you go to Buda. Downtown Buda, Taste on Main. So, remember SEC Media Days, our travel partners, Texas Card House, Hayes City Store, and Taste on Main. These are the same people that bring you Hayes City Store. It's a casual steakhouse. There's no dress code. There's free parking within walking distance. They only serve East Coast oysters. If you're an oyster snob, this is your place. Go check them out. Taste on Main, right there in downtown Buda. Tell Travis, Tamara, and the crew that you heard it on Orange Bloods Live. They also have a great brunch, Saturday and Sunday brunch. Check them out. Taste on Main. All right, couple of good ones I like. S. Roan still throwing facts at us. Arizona State has won the same number of Big 12 championships as Aggie. Thank you, S. Roan. Appreciate you for the information. Appreciate you. But also this one, Anwar, I think this is a lock, what Rex is throwing in. 26 and 27, I bet SEC puts Ole Miss and Tennessee on Texas's schedule to set up games for Arch to play against his uncle/grandpa's old teams. Rating boom for sure. Rex, I completely agree with you. Completely. In 2026, I will be floored if they're both not on the schedule. And I would even go as far to say they might even have Texas go to both. They might even think about Arch in the Grove, Arch in Knoxville. Maybe they don't do both, but Anwar, I think both of those teams are on Texas's schedule. I mean, it's so perfect. They're both not on the schedule now.
Yes.
And you just rotate them in and say you were going to do it anyway. It just makes way too much sense.
Well, yeah. And in this go round, Texas hasn't played those programs yet. So now when you come out with the second schedule of home and homes, it makes sense. Yeah, I would definitely have Texas at Ole Miss next year.
That's what I do.
I would just say, all right, we may only have one more shot at this. I don't think 2027 will matter, but I think 2026, you make sure he goes there. And then if you want to split it up and make it not be so obvious, then you can go ahead and mix in a Tennessee. But so the teams that they didn't play haven't played as SEC members. So that would be the Missouri, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama. I'm talking about as an SEC member.
As an SEC team, right? Haven't played Bama yet.
So that's 4.
South Carolina, right? Haven't played South Carolina.
Would have to be there as well.
You said Missouri. You're right about that. Tennessee, LSU. They played LSU, right?
So that's a potential 6 right there. You have Oklahoma at 7 and A&M at 8. I mean, you could definitely mix that in. I can definitely see that.
Yeah, but Rex, I would say, and Anwar laid it out perfectly. Texas at Ole Miss because of the Archie thing. Yeah. I mean, come on,
Eli as well.
It's so simple.
And this year, and this week, you can kind of get away with it a little bit, because you can get the whole Peyton never beat Florida kind of thing. And so if Arch beats Florida, that's one checkbox at least for them, Chad, to say, hey, Peyton never did it in 4 years. And God, we know Steve Spurrier used to clown him for that.
Right.
So you got the Florida thing checked off, and now you just got to check off the other 2.
Yeah, it's a good point. And Auburn's another one. Rex threw in the full list for us. But yes, we mentioned Tennessee, LSU. Missouri and Auburn would be a couple others. So Rex is throwing the idea out here of those 3 rivals we talked about, and then adding in some of the others.
Would you rather see Auburn or would you rather see South Carolina? If you had to drop, I'd rather see South Carolina.
You're saying who would I rather see Texas play in general, or like
no. Of this list that Rex has here, if you had to drop one to add South Carolina, which team would you drop?
Geez.
And by the way, he doesn't add in Alabama because Texas hasn't faced Alabama as an SEC program.
Right. He didn't put I would drop Missouri and put in South Carolina because I'd keep Auburn. But that's it. I have a little bit of a affinity for Auburn. Like, I dig it. I've done the trip. I've been there, and Texas Auburn sounds really cool to me. So, and they pull up old film of when they beat Bo Jackson. So I got to leave Auburn in there. So
these kids don't know who the hell Bo Jackson is.
I'm going to flip Missouri, South Carolina. That's what I would do. Because I've also done the trip Anwar to South Carolina, and with all due respect to the Missouri Tigers, that atmosphere ain't South Carolina. Columbia is really cool for what, I mean, it's one of those, maybe doesn't get talked about a ton. It's not the best in the SEC or anything, but it's pretty damn good. So
yeah, I think that, and I think
better than Missouri.
Yeah, and I think if you're the SEC, if you want to put some butts in the seats, I think a South Carolina thing would be good. But Auburn has a good fan base, though. They do travel.
Yep. All right, before we wrap it up, let's give Texas Card House some love. They sponsor the 12 o'clock show for most of the week. They are one of our great sponsors, and they've got 6 locations in the state of Texas. Go on in, mention Orange Bloods, and you get that 1 month of free club membership and 2 hours of free poker play. Also, remember, online poker all across the great state of Texas is available for you at Hijack Poker. Go to hijackpoker.com, sign up. You get that $20 bonus and scan that QR code. You can put it on any device. You see it on a phone there, phone, tablet, computer, whatever you got, and get to playing. Get in that virtual get in that virtual room, and you might end up playing next to Mr. Ketchum or Mr. Dunlap or some of our other great fans. I know Tom G's in there playing some hijack poker sometimes, so y'all check that out as well. And thank you to Hijack Poker and Texas Card House. And thanks to Anwar Richardson for jumping in today. The only mod y'all needed today
There you go.
on a Tuesday was Anwar Richardson. Anwar, anything else? Are we ready to close?
We'll close, but can I just close on this though? I mean, and not a sad, a little bit of a sad note, but like rest in peace to Malcolm Jamal Warner, man. Like that was the guy that we all grew up with and watched, and man, just what a tragedy that was to hear about that yesterday, and see the posts on social media. And then I went back and I found myself watching clips of the Cosby Show just on YouTube yesterday, just kind of going through some of the Gordon Gartrell, references, or the Monopoly money, and just some of the things that I just, made you smile, and then hearing all the positive things. So, I always, man, whenever I have the old fashioned show, I always say, like, live each day like it was your last, because one day it might be. It's just once again, a reminder of how frail life can be, man, and enjoy every single moment, because you just never know you're going to get that phone call. So, man, just for everybody out there, it's cliche at times, but man, to really, really go out there, reach out to your loved ones, reach out to the people that you're thinking about, that you haven't talked to in a while, just say what's up. Life is frail, but rest in peace, man, because, man, especially when you see the age, like, and my kid was just in Costa Rica, Chad. He was just there on swimming and surfing like 2 weeks ago. So that even like hit me even harder. So, but just rest in peace though, man. Rest in peace to Malcolm.
No doubt. It broke my heart anyway for thousands of reasons, but the fact that he leaves behind a wife and a daughter. That girl is either 7 or 8. Depending on her birthday, which I do not know, of course, but just a sad story. And you just mentioned, your son being there. It's also that reminder, Anwar, whatever your level of swimming is, just respect that ocean as much as you can. And apparently they didn't have enough lifeguards around, and just always be aware when you're around the ocean. If you're really going in past your ankles, like, just understand where you are and it's just, oof, it's such a terrible story. So I agree with you. Rest in peace. And I did watch a lot of Cosby Show clips.
Oh man, it brought back some good memories, man. The Gordon Gartrell thing. It just
my arms are the same length, Anwar. Why aren't my sleeves?
So at least that will bring a smile to our face, man.
It is. Yeah, hopefully people get a little comfort there. Rest in peace to the great Malcolm Jamal Warner. Thank you guys for jumping in on the chat today. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and getting your notifications. And we will hit you next week on a Tuesday at noon with another modcast. We might even have some more mods. Or Anwar and I'll get back together and we'll just talk about whatever we want. You just never know. Until then.
Someone's right. Ozzy Osbourne just passed away.
Dude, what?
Yeah, Ozzy Osbourne just died.
Wow. Okay, I'm going to end this show before I cry as a grown man. Y'all take